everybody? Welcome back to the 312 show. I am your glorious. It's just so I've never called myself glorious, and I just did, and it feels terrible. I hate it. Your glorious host, Nick Sperry. I'm joined by my co-host Manny, another 312 local, and then what honestly feels like just kind of an inductee into the 312 crew, Matt Corser, not only on our baseball team but on our X-Wing streams, joining me several times recently. Matt, thanks for joining us, man.
No problem. Happy to be here.
What's up, Deslin? How are you? He's dropping the NJOs. We'll talk about the draft league. This 312 show is going to be focusing more on X-Wing. We try to balance it out, but we have our other topics. However, we'll be sure to spend a lot more time on the topic of X-Wing, and there's the raid, Nickel City X-Wing. Thank you so much, everybody. Please remind me of my terrible, awful, sad loss earlier to start the draft league. 15 scenario points. Hey, Darren, thank you so much for the sub. 15 scenario points and a L. So just shit happens. Bad luck happens. It is what it is. But anyways, thank you, Greg. Appreciate the raid, man. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Nickel City X-Wing crew. You know what? While you're all here, for those of you before you go, fuck this. I just want to give you all the heads up that 312 is stepping the fuck up with draft league coverage. You guys are gonna not see me for a second. I need to pull up Discord. Stand by so I can pull up Discord. Okay. So we have several games, draft league games that we are streaming this week, and Matt, however often you are available and you want to join, if you'd like to join, you can. But get this, guys, we have tomorrow night, Wednesday, 10 o'clock Central, we have a draft league game. It's going to be Team NJO versus Mega Milk Union. And then Thursday at 4:30 Central Time, we have a Tinder Gods game. You know, first loss for the Tinder Gods this season on me, but we got a couple more chances. That is going to be, we're going up against Order 66, which is Andrew Oler's team. So that is at 4:30 Central. And then Friday, I just added a game. We've got Pim versus Crispy. That's going to be a heavyweight matchup. That's at 7 o'clock Central Time. We're not done, because then on Saturday, we have a 12 o'clock Central and a 2:30 Central. I don't remember exactly at the top of my head the who's playing, but I believe Matt Carey on our team is playing one of those games. Actually, that's on Sunday, because then Sunday at 11 a.m. Central, we're streaming a XVT X-Wing Virtual Tournament's final game at 11, and then at 4 o'clock we have another draft league game. So that is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games of X-Wing this week on 312. So please glue your face to your screen, because between Nickel City X-Wing and ourselves, that's a lot of X-Wing, and I'm excited. I'm going to be super tired and exhausted, but we're going to have fun along the way. So I invite you all to join in on the shit talking and pile on and watch with us. All right, I'm going to bring back, there we are. I like you guys, but that's crazy, man. I know, I'm doing my best impression of Greg, because Greg tends to really turn it on. It's impressive when it comes draft league time. So I think I might have missed. Did I miss another sub? I want to make sure I didn't. Tecumseh, thank you for the sub. How's it going, man? I was pretty close to complaining about my dice, but then I remembered you reminding me about how I shouldn't bitch about my dice. So I'm not going to do that. Fighter of the night, man. Yeah, I mean, Lou signed up for the Wednesday night slot, so I mean, cool. Thanks, Lou. Appreciate it. All right, so we're gonna just immediately roll into the topics here. We've already done our introduction, so we're gonna go right on over to our super quick tidbit about Chicago, because guess what? That's where we're based here. We are based in Chicago, so it's time for random Chicago time, baby. All right, what do I have for you guys? There is a building a long ass time, well, not that long ago, but a while ago, that was supposed to get built. That was going to be like, for at the time, the largest building in the whole world. So let me bring up the Chicago Spire. Here we go. I think you guys should be able to see that full screen. The Chicago Spire was, I mean, you guys can see this picture. Let me try to zoom in on it a little bit. Look how massive that is. Like, what?
That does not look like.
This is right by Navy Pier.
That looks like something from Saudi Arabia or like from the United States Emirates, like that type of building.
So the Chicago Spire was a skyscraper project in Chicago that was partially built between 2007 and 2008 before being canceled. It is located off 400 North Lakeshore Drive. It would have been 2,000 feet high with 150 floors. And it would have, okay, not the world, but it would have been the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. It was originally proposed at the Fordham Spire in July 2005, and the design had 115 stories. They decided to tackle, or 116. They decided to tackle on some more, included a hotel and condominiums, and was topped with a broadcast antenna mast. And from what I remember, Donald Trump voiced opposition, so they really should have built it. The mayor at the time, Daley, had approved it. And then they basically, long story short, they broke ground. You guys can see this picture. It's just a platform. It's still just a vacant lot. They broke ground and ran out of money and didn't build it. They could not build it.
That's pretty funny.
Yep. So kind of sad. Fun Chicago fact. No one likes that place. And this is where we time out our friend Nickel City X-Wing. Thank you for the raid. And now shut the fuck up. You can enjoy your peace and quiet for a couple of minutes. We are going to. I think he's a mod too. I just timed up my own mod, but hey, I'm not pulling any punches here.
Anarchy.
That's I'm into it, man. Absolutely. So we're gonna keep rolling along. It is time. This is Manny's favorite topic. It's time, Matt. I hope you prepared some hot takes or have some in your back pocket because it's time for the hot takes. So does anybody want to go first? I usually don't like to go first, but
I have one.
All right. You've laid on a few on me. There was one there was one. What was it? You would rather.
Please let me know.
Oh, you said something that was really bad.
Oh yeah.
Manny would rather
than watch certain episodes of Nathan for You.
Manny would rather be. Is it join ISIS or be kidnapped by ISIS?
Held by ISIS.
Than be on a cruise ship. So that is something that Manny has said out loud.
On a cruise ship. Oh, okay. I mean, can you blame me? A cruise ship. You saw all the stories that happened like throughout COVID of people just being stranded on a boat for weeks.
They're just like walking huge petri dishes on the ocean.
Yep.
Like,
I mean,
go there
like it is bad. It's bad. But is it like, would you rather be held hostage by ISIS? Bad.
Perhaps not. But
perhaps.
Rather be waterboarded at Guantanamo Bay than be on a cruise ship.
Guantanamo Bay sounds like such a dope place. It's like such a funny name.
Either of those
if you don't know what
waterboarding or Guantanamo Bay is.
Oh man, some radical Islam you got there. Oh man. Oh, terrible. All right, well, so I set you up for that one. Do you have a different one? Because I pulled that one out.
All right. I don't care if you are a prestigious restaurant. If I'm paying like $80 like for a meal and I don't have an actual menu, you expect me to use to take out a phone
yes.
and scan a QR code. You are not a prestigious restaurant in my eyes. You should have a menu.
The QR code thing is bullshit. I hate it.
At the very least, if you're gonna make me like scan, don't have it be a file that I need to save on my phone to open. Just take me to the website. Take me to the website. Don't.
Yeah, and then they have bad reception. You can't even download it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. You gotta love it. That is definitely a big thing here in Michigan. Matt, is that the QR code fiasco still a big thing at most restaurants for you?
I mean, yeah, it depends. Most of the like if I go to like a brewery, like I think everywhere that I went to Grand Rapids this weekend. It's on the east side of the state. And I think almost every restaurant we went to was QR code, which I don't know. I don't normally mind like pre-COVID, like during COVID. I mean, we're technically still in COVID. I understood it, but now it's kind of like I like having something physical to hold on to.
It's
like it's like a
definitely easy to
brewery, that's
update if
fine.
you're going through changes a lot and you need to do it efficiently
Yeah.
and cost effectively. The QR code thing makes sense, but you're right. There is something to be said about going to a nice
Like high-end
place,
restaurant.
a high-end
Yeah.
restaurant, and I think the QR code makes a lot of restaurants, they think they elevate their status because they're like, oh, we're like
don't.
with the times, so we can get away with charging more money because we have a modern menu system. It's like, no, it's bullshit.
Anybody can do a QR code.
Yeah, it's like, all right, your $25 cheeseburger. I'm glad I had to scan to see the price. Yeah,
It's extremely like petty and superficial, yes, but I'm paying a good amount of money for it, so let me have my damn menu.
guys, I'm inviting the chat here. Please hit us with your hot takes because even though we have some, despite Greg is the only one that doesn't need the instruction. He will always jump in and slander things that have no business being slandered, but he sticks to his guns and he's always giving us hot takes. So the rest of y'all, you're on the clock, okay? So Matt, give me one.
I think it is a travesty of justice that Hugh Jackman was not nominated for Best Actor for Logan. I'm not saying he should have
God, I
won
remember
it.
that movie.
He should have at least been nominated, and Josh Brolin also should have been nominated for Infinity War.
Ooh, for
Okay, I can
Infinity War.
see- Okay, I can agree with the former, the latter less so, but yeah, I agree. Logan was a great film, and he really acted
Oh, it was
his
really good.
ass off.
Like that scene towards the end where he's like crying, like everybody I died, like 'cause everything that I love has gone to shit, and he's just crying. I'm like, oh, I feel you. Like that's years of character building and just
Yep.
what it was great.
Yeah, and I was back playing the same character in the new Deadpool film, right?
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds asked him, "Hey, can you just come back for this one film?" And he said yes, which is amazing.
start working out now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
man.
mean, yeah, he's old. They're
Yeah.
all old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he still looks great. I mean,
Yeah.
he does.
not gay, but Hugh Jackman. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Are you
I'm a
sure about
Henry
that, Manny?
Cavill guy myself.
You know, Manny, it's cool to be. It's like being bi is in, so you can be like you're bi. Like, I'm not diminishing the people that are actually bi. It's just one of those things. Where it's like, oh yeah, it's not surprising everyone's bi.
Yeah, he's Australian, right? Who can sing, dance, act. He's like a triple threat.
He's got it all going for
Yeah,
him.
he's got
Yeah.
he's got it
When
all
he's
going
attractive,
for
he's a
him.
good-looking guy.
Yeah.
All right, here's a hot take that I think some people are actually going to agree with me on. I've been thinking about it, and that a lot of people I think might be annoyed with me on for saying this, but here's my hot take. I don't even know if it is hot, but like it depends on what part of the social media sphere you go to. If you're on Twitter, this is a hot take. There is absolutely nothing wrong with buying, playing, and enjoying the hell out of Hogwarts Legacy. I don't own it. I don't play it. But this whole thing about, oh, well, you got to really hit it. You got to hit J.K. Rowling where it hurts and don't buy a game that's already made like, tens of millions of dollars. Like,
Is that a
not
hot?
that
Okay.
I don't think there's anything wrong with partaking in the Warner Brothers capitalistic. I mean, they're going on a frenzy. Lord of the Rings is coming up next. They're going to be rebooting that apparently. Something to talk about later. But yeah, One Arm Billy is unsubbed. Fair enough. Lukewarm take. You know what? I don't even. Yeah, it's not even that. It's not really that hot. But it's just something that I think a lot of people are pissed that it exists. The game is a thing. But like, I mean, who doesn't want to play an open world MMO, modern with great graphics Harry Potter game? Like, Harry Potter will always be J.K. Rowling's. She will always be the creator of Harry Potter. So you have to give her credit for the fact that she factually just made it and created it.
She's a shitty human being.
Just can't cope.
but
People just have to
it is
find a better way to
hilarious.
cope, I think.
I mean, yeah. I mean, coping by create a website to harass the streamers who chose to stream the game is definitely not the way to go. I can understand the frustration, but that is no excuse.
Oh, we got an Andrew Tate mention. Greg number 7, Andy Tate fan. He's got all the Bugattis. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a thing. The whole thing with Andrew Tate too. I hate Andrew Tate.
Oh yeah,
But I'm genuinely wondering where the evidence is at this point because he's been in prison for like a couple months and they can't find anything. I'm like,
yeah. Well,
I hope they find something.
His prison sentence, his prison sentence. No, he's not sentenced, but his holding was extended for an extra month. I mean, I'm gonna guess they have a good amount of evidence, but even if they don't, you know what? I'm all for civil liberties, but in this one case, I feel like I can look the other way.
I mean, it's a different country. They do things differently over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
are
They're
we to
just
Romania.
like,
judge
we're
how
gonna
they-
just
how they
extend
take
your
care of things?
yeah.
Like they're gonna make an example out of him, and you don't want to made an example of
Him and his
Romania.
brother. People forget his brother is he's literally a clone with him, but with hair. Tristan Tate. The two of them are, yeah, they're something else.
That's,
So,
yeah, that's pretty mild.
yeah. All right, one more each. Going back to you, Manny, Mr. Smoothie, Mr. Protein, Big Poppy. Hit me with the hot
Fuck.
take.
Okay, yeah. Chicken thighs are better than chicken breast.
Oh, and they're cheaper.
Is that a hot take? No, not hot take.
I think that's no one's blown away. Like I didn't
Oh, all
fly
right.
back in
Okay,
my
to give you
chair
like
from
type of
that
thing.
one.
All right, I just had to shoot
That's
something
okay.
out.
This is a tough one. This
Right.
is not easy.
Yeah. Okay.
Thighs are delicious.
Uh,
Desi agrees. He endorses that.
Yeah.
NJO endorses chicken thighs. The entire team.
Thighs save lives.
Save lives. Here's something. I'll jump in really quick. This has never happened to me. You guys are gonna think that I'm projecting here, that it has. But I think that people that get stood up on dates, like going out at a restaurant, they're literally there, should get half off their meal.
Oh, like
Like having a restaurant
Out of
policy.
petty-
or just
No,
or just a
petty, like,
drink, a
out of
free
pity.
drink. Yeah, complimentary drink, dude. Because there's nothing like, at least you got a cheaper meal or a
okay,
free drink.
So if I was at a restaurant, all right, how
I would
could I
purposely
prove that
get
you
stood
got
up. No one's here. Yeah, you have to show the receipts. Here's the receipts, the documents.
the
I didn't
DM.
say it made any sense. And this is a capitalism. This isn't how the world works. You still, but yeah, I mean, honestly, like I've worked for a restaurant before, and you can usually tell when somebody is like there to meet somebody. Just kind of get the vibe that that person is waiting for somebody else, or they'll say, I'm waiting for somebody else.
Yeah.
And then when they've been there for 30 or 40 minutes and they still haven't showed up, you start to feel pretty bad. It's not fun. That feeling's got to be not pleasant. So I don't know. They need a small dub. Giving them a drink. Here's a
Okay, I got,
spiked Shirley Temple or something. I don't know.
Alright.
What do you call
I
a
wanna
normal
cover
Shirley
my,
Temple?
my previous one. All right. To make sports more interesting, players should have to come from the state that the team is from, or like the teams should
Oh gosh.
have
Yeah.
to recruit players from the state instead of like
Florida
Maine-
desperately adding a baseball team.
dollars for a player that's like 4 states away, or like
They already
100%
they had the
country.
Braves and the Marlins. I forget, both those teams are just generally, well, the Braves can be good. The Marlins are bad. I was like,
Like,
I just acted like they didn't have 2 baseball teams already.
Like, I don't care about sports because of that reason. Because the player that I might care about, who's on a sports team that I like, could just up and leave because another team chose to pay more for said player. There's no like they want me to have passion for the team, but there's no expectation for the players to do the same. I mean, case
I
in
like
point-
I liked your idea of having a all juiced league. where players just like take every drug known to man and juice the hell out of it, out of
Oh,
their
here,
bodies.
I want to see
Here.
peak physical performance. Like, what can the human body actually
Yeah,
do?
show me
do
physical,
before it
peak
just
physical.
dies. Oh, here, case in point, LeBron James. All right?
LeBron James.
Cleveland hates him and loves him, then ended up hating him when he left again. I think that's what happened. So, yeah.
Give me Matt, give me an X-Wing hot take.
An X-wing hot take. Oh
Mhm.
my god. Man, like I feel like a lot of these are not safe for work.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing.
X-Men hot take that's not safe for work. I'm interested.
Gosh, do I have an X-wing?
Oh, here's one. I'll just throw one out there. Poe Dameron without overdrive thrusters is unplayable.
How fucking dare you? And you're right.
I think
You're right.
Flyboy. I think Flyboy Poe for sure. Like I think
Yeah.
Commander Poe, you can kind of get away with it, but
Because you
Flyboy
can't
Poe.
take it on. Yeah, but Flyboy. I guess the only Poe in my head is Trigger Happy Flyboy Poe.
I think
Kind Ron.
I think they should now that you can't tractor stuff on rocks, and there's the rotating tractor. I think Nantex should be better. I want to see something back on the
Matt is advocating for a Nantex return, maybe an 8-ship Nantex list. Matt?
No, not that. No, I just want go back to the old tractor rules where if Sunfuck rolls up on Han Solo, he's tractored and he can shoot 5 dice into Han Solo. Just give me that.
Yeah, but Han needs 3 tractor tokens, right? Or no?
Yeah, then you go back to the old rules where just one tractor token.
Oh God,
count.
fun stuff.
Oh,
That's
You
that's
can't go
fun.
on rocks anymore.
That's
so
fun.
I didn't experience the Nantex craze of X-Wing, but that just sounds scary. I'm
it's
sure
so
it was.
fun. But yeah, no, I like the Nantex line. I know that's not a popular opinion among the community.
My last one, and we can move on, is make impervium plating cost points. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
since you can take it for free on other Bubble Labs. Isofane has exposed that. It's quite good. All right, we are headed back to our guest rapid fire. The spotlight is going to stay on Matt Corser here. For those of you guys that don't know Matt, I want to plug the Best Spin Benchwarmers now. We'll do it at the end of the show as well. Matt, you and 2 other people, right?
Yeah,
Break it down.
Alex Merrill, all locals, friends of mine, and Cody Wood, but he has been not with us lately because he's been traveling a lot for work and take his
Jesus.
set up with him. So we've been doing rotating guests recently, but yeah,
Nice.
we're an X-Wing podcast based out of Southeast Michigan. We don't record as much as we'd like to, but we're all adults and it's just hard to kind of get the scheduling going.
So they are,
and
that's why they're running a 24/7 podcast coming up here. 3 straight days of just. Can you imagine having to talk about X-Wing for that long? Oh my God, I'm good. I don't think I have that much to say. I think I'm just gonna start complaining about things and be like, I wish that I didn't blink out with Luke. But yeah, literally everybody who's ever played Luke wishes that. All right, so guest rapid fire time. Here we go. All right, so Manny and I, we just pull questions out of our ass. We time you for, I think it's about 1 minute and 30 seconds. We see how many questions you can ask in a short period of time. Usually it's a this or that question. And it's that because it's easier for you to just be able to answer it quickly versus being like, tell me what the meaning of life is. So,
I mean, we can talk about that, but
we could. I'm sure everybody would love to stick around for that.
It's 42, right?
The meaning of life is 42?
Yeah. Do you understand the reference?
No.
No? Alright, I'm not gonna explain it. It's
Right over our heads.
Joke. I'm not gonna explain it. Okay.
Oh.
you can Google it later.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So I guess I will start us off here. All right. Would you rather have hot green dice or hot red dice on average,
red
consistently? Okay, Manny.
Ooh, I'm gonna say green dice.
Well, no, you gotta ask a question. We're gonna reset the timer. You gotta ask our boy.
Right. Oh shit! I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh my God! I'm ending the stream. Here we go. Go.
Jedi or Sith?
Sith.
Hell yeah. Okay. Pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
What type of lightsaber?
Red.
Okay. Let's see. Oh gosh. Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Easy.
Pancakes or waffles?
Oh, waffles.
Okay. PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
Cheesecake or ice cream cake?
Cheesecake.
Okay. Tabletop Simulator, red side or blue side?
Red.
Okay.
Pokemon or
Pokemon.
Yu-Gi-Oh?
Pokemon.
Bone-in wings or boneless?
Boneless.
Disney World or Disneyland?
Disney World.
Oh, not the OG. Okay. Half glasses half empty, glasses half full.
Empty.
Oh,
Your
I'm a Rebel player. I get
favorite subject in school?
Band.
that. Hell yeah. Okay. 4-day work week. Yes or no?
Yes.
Your
We'll get back to that one.
preferred instrument.
Tuba.
Least favorite instrument. I'm gonna jump off that one.
Flute. Nope. Clarinet.
Okay. Favorite
It's good work,
song,
gotcha.
and then I'll have Manny finish this. Favorite song.
All right.
I just doubled up.
My Hero by Foo Fighters.
Right.
Oh, nice.
Your most
Good
hated
choice.
artist.
My favorite artist.
No,
Most hated.
your most hated. Your most
Oh
hated
God.
artist.
Nickelback.
Oh, yeah. It's an easy one to scapegoat. I'm not a Nickelback fan. Do you like Linkin Park?
Yeah, I like Linkin Park. I like their old stuff.
They just released a song recently. I'll have to check it out. Nicki Minaj is a good choice for bad. Cardi B, I'd throw in there. Can't stand Cardi B. I think more just her personality is just like awful.
Yeah.
She's like a criminal. It's in the past. I just was a criminal a while ago. It's like you still did crimes.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. So that was our guest rapid fire. Thank you very much for joining us for that. And we're gonna go and keep mowing along here. Our next segment is on Star Wars lore, which you know what? I'm gonna leave this up to the chat. What do you guys want to talk about? Star Wars. I think the last one we talked about was it Jan? I feel like it was Jan, or it was Dash. I think it was Dash.
I want to step away for just a hot second. I'll be
Go
right
for
back.
it.
Apparently, there's a new type of milk in Star Wars. It's pink now.
There's pink milk now.
Yep.
Oh, is The Mandalorian out tomorrow?
I think it comes out in like 3 hours from now.
Oh shit,
or
it's tonight.
whenever Disney Plus does
Holy
airs new stuff.
oh my gosh. Wow. Okay.
Sadly, I work tomorrow, so I can't stay up. Or like,
Yeah,
at least I had to go
I have
into
to.
like the office
Me
tomorrow.
too. Me too. Hashtag me too, Manny. We could also just like talk about stuff that we like in Star Wars for a couple minutes and just roll right in X-Wing. You know what? Maybe we'll just do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Maybe we'll just do that. I don't know what the plan is with Andor in the next season. I do hope that they don't do more than one more season. I just feel like it hits so hard when you withhold things from the audience because it leaves them wanting more, yet while also being satisfied is a much more preferable position despite the prospect of making more money than over providing and spoiling things or diminishing the overall legacy of a franchise.
So the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, because like The Force Awakens started off like people were like most people I'd say like liked it enough, and then it branched off into the two pretty polarizing movies. Though The Last Jedi is certainly better than The Rise of Skywalker. Even people that don't like The Last Jedi would say that.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Agree
it's
with
also
that.
had an effect on The Force Awakens where like people look negatively on that now. As
Oh,
well.
totally. I think that
Oh,
it affects every show. Game of Thrones. What is that? That's like 8 seasons in or 9. I can't remember. It's 8, right? The 8th season is that last one.
8 or 9. Yeah.
How 7 seasons? It's very impressive for a show to go that long and be so loved and well produced, and then 1 season, just one. You know, it spoils the whole thing because it's all connected, right? That matters. It does matter. It's easy when you look over to like Tolkien and you can easily separate The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Thank God. They're not, they're in the same universe, but they just don't cross over in the way that would taint. Like The Hobbit has no impact on the quality of The Lord of the Rings.
No, I mean The Hobbit's great, but you can definitely tell like this was written to be a children's story, and it wasn't meant to like jumpstart this whole universe.
Andor was well acted. I think that's an understatement for sure. Andor is probably the most perfect Star Wars show. It is the most perfect Star Wars show we've gotten from all corners of industry related qualities. Casting, music, narrative, screenplay, just everything about it is just very good.
I think it's the best Star Wars we've had since Empire.
So yeah, I think it's better than Rogue One, because Rogue One, even though I love Rogue One, it's still a little campy and has some moments that are just like, oh, that's weird, or like that
I
didn't
mean, the
really
climax
work.
of that film is what really pulls it up.
Yeah, but there's some good stuff, like the scene when like Jyn sees her dad in the hologram, and he like explains to her what he did and like where to find the plans, and she starts like tearing up and everything, the ground's shaking, and the Death Star, because the Death Star just shot at Jedha, and there's just moments like that that I think get overshadowed in Rogue One that are really good, and they pull from stuff like that, and it's definitely, you see the crossover and Andor, because it's the same people, some of the same people. So, but yeah, Andor could almost be, you know, you could string it together as just like a movie.
Yeah.
I
Luthen has to die, right? Like, Luthen has to die.
probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still waiting for them to have the on-screen death of Grogu, you know, so maybe an orbital strike. It's Grogu. I'd be down. Let's move on from Grogu, please. It's just, he's cute. It's great. But we're not going to.
We can't make money if he's off
I know.
screen, though.
It's true. It's true. That's why they put him in Boba, too. Book of Boba.
I don't even want to
I want to get into that one, huh?
Oh, there was an interview with Jon Favreau, and he explained that the time between season 2, or at the end of season 2, Mandalorian, to where Grogu comes back to the picture was 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. Yeah.
So what was Boba Fett doing for 2 years?
His name was Boba Fett. He's just in the Sarlacc for a couple of years, you know?
I don't think it was like specifically 2 years, but like he said, like just
Okay.
I want amount of years.
I want to take a second to defend Tamura Morrison, because the dude is a champ and he's a great dude. And I just we love you. I feel really bad for him, because I think there's so much hate, and I don't know if it's necessarily been targeted at him and be like, you suck, Tamura, but it's hard to be associated with something that is hated. Even if you're not the direct reason. He certainly isn't a great actor. He's a great voice. He's got a pretty iconic face for the prequels, but they just had him talk too much, and they had him take his helmet off too much. He wasn't that intimidating, and you lost a lot of the Boba Fett that we knew and loved watching that show.
I mean, I will say I love seeing Tamura Morrison back, and like that was like,
yeah.
I mean, I have my gripes with the sequels, but the sequels hit me at the right time. They should have got Daniel Logan to be Boba Fett. That was the kid who played Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones, and he's also from New Zealand. He's also Maori, like
nice. Oh yeah.
And he did the voice for Boba Fett in Clone Wars, and he looks like he's like the perfect age to do it, because like he's just too like I can take, like, I don't associate Star Wars with great acting. Like I can take bad acting in my Star Wars. He's just too old.
I think he worked. He did well in The Mandalorian, though. His cameo appearance, and he was good enough in The Mandalorian, even though he was called Boba Fett because he had gained a few pounds over the several decades, a couple of decades since we last saw him. But yeah, just it's the Solo effect. Nobody wanted this. Nobody asked for it, and shocked it didn't work out.
But like, if he wants to come back as like Captain Rex in Ahsoka, like, I'm here for that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
100%.
Yeah, same.
that's rumored to be and he makes an appearance in Kenobi as well.
Yeah, he was in Kenobi. I mean, I'm here for like him playing like old live action clones. Like, sign me up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally, definitely. All right, it's time for the X-Wing talk. And as usual, everybody, I have a game of X-Wing from one of our recent 2.5 in-person streams that is going to play while we talk about X-Wing. So as it you guys can watch that while we talk. So, all right, Adepticon Worlds is coming up. It's technically in a few hours. It will be this month, because thank God February is about to be over. No one really likes February, and if your birthday's in February, I'm sure you still don't really like February outside of the one day that makes you feel special. Just not or unless you're a freak who like actually really is passionate about Valentine's Day and like really looks forward to it every year, which I'm like, okay.
There's someone out there.
There's someone out there.
congrats
I
for
can't
you,
wait to buy the roses. Wake up and smell the roses, folks. If y'all want to send me roses and make me feel special, that's a Sigma move right there. The Tinder God would appreciate it. So if you don't want to give me $5, you could certainly spend $500 on several bouquets of roses. You can send that my way. But yeah, so Worlds is coming up, and we are figuring out exactly, or maybe we are. I don't want to speak for both for all three of us, but we're finalizing lists. We're narrowing down if we've got the faction and the archetype down. We're maybe narrowing down what the loadout's going to be. So take me through what's going on in your heads right now. Are you guys getting a lot of practice? If you are you doing it online? I know, Manny, you're not usually playing in person. I've been playing a lot in person. How are you going to be approaching the next few weeks? Because super exciting, but it's a big deal. Like, you want to do well. It's the last major event of the X-Wing fiscal year, or whatever you want to call it, before we head into the new era. So Matt, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I've been pretty much flying the same list now for almost a month, about 3-ish weeks. It was like the list that I used my last 3 matches of Sector Series.
How have you been doing with it?
Yeah, I've been doing really well. Like, I have what did I lose against? I've lost twice, and I've lost twice to like the person who's also bringing my list.
Oh,
So
that sucks.
we lose to each other.
Well, what is your list? Why don't you tell us what your
I'm
list is?
taking Poe Falcon and Lulo, Zai, BB-8, and Finn. Because
Got it. So 2 pods, the
Gotcha, 2
cheaper
pods.
Zay Versio, right?
Zai, yep, Xavier.
Lulo.
Okay.
Nice. So you got an I6, got an I5, you got an I3,
3 and 2.
and 2 I2s.
Yep.
Nice. Great. That's solid for objectives, right?
Yeah, and I haven't lost Poe. Like, in all, even the games I've lost, I haven't lost Poe, so I'm like happy about
Nice.
that. But man, that Poe is he's a monster. Like, he's got Notorious on him, so it's like, yeah, I guess you can shoot me, then all my friends are also going to shoot you after.
Yeah.
Question. So your opponents, do they usually go after like the pods, or say who's like their
They
primary
usually
target?
like I usually bunch up Zay, Finn, and BB-8 together. They're like a little jousting block, and then Lulo's off doing his little flanking thing, and then Poe is just. He's I6. I can fly over rocks. I'll do whatever I want. I can figure it out.
And
That's not how all games go, but he's
yeah.
like, I can.
He has
pretty
trick shot,
flexible with
right?
What I want to do. Notorious.
Okay, he doesn't have to. Okay, yeah. So it sounds like if you kill Lulo or Zay, it becomes that becomes a heavy lifting chore for Poe, right?
Yeah, which
With
he's
some
got Ray
firepower,
Gunner.
yeah.
I've got Ray Gunner and a target lock, which I'm usually gonna. I'll just put my 3 dice down, my 3 hits down, and
Yeah. Here's the thing. You almost have to bring at least one ship that's going to guarantee 3 hits these days. At least one. That's like this list. I'm purposely put this game on because I was playing Han, Luke, and Wedge, which is a perfect example of 3 ships that, with the way the list is built, are going to and should be getting 3 or 4 hits every time they shoot. And if they don't, I probably lose. That's kind of where we're at with the damage race these days. The scenarios are fairly balanced, somewhat. I don't think there's any, egregious. So of course, scum players will always hate salvage, and everyone will hate salvage. Everyone hates salvage. Scramble. I played a game of Scramble, a close game with Michael. Good game. Felt bad at the time, but I scored 15 objective points, and it's nice to know there are other ways to score points if your opponent is bringing a list that is hard to kill, and that's what we're doing these days is we're not necessarily sacrificing adding bodies to just get more guns that might be easier to kill unless it's a droid swarm. People are bringing 4, 5, 6 ship lists. The Republic lists are brutal because of the token sharing on defense, the force, the passive mods, the repositioning. So it's all about how you can bring your brute force up against someone else's. And if you don't think you can overcome your opponent's brute force, then can you play the objective game and just focus on that as best as you can? Matt, you feel if you had to give a rating on 1 to 10 with all the objectives in mind, what would you give your list? 10 being the best for objectives. What would you give it?
I'd say it's about an 8, like a solid 8 for objectives. Because like BB-8, he's just there to get objectives. Like for salvage, like everybody hates salvage. Like I don't want anybody really picking up crates. Like Zai can pick one up, and BB-8, but like and Finn really, but And those 3 can pick up crates, but like I don't want Poe picking crates up. Like
Yeah.
I got that
Certainly not.
ability. to
And
just
he's a
do
one
whatever I want.
agility. Yeah, and he's one agility, so
Yeah.
RNG factors in pretty quickly.
But other than that, like
An
scramble.
8. I'd say that's about it. It sounds about right. Manny, what about you? How are you getting along with getting ready for this events? You've kind of been dipping your feet into X-Wing events. You know, you're not like a veteran, but you've been to several now. So this is the biggest one that you'll play at, I think, in terms of importance, you know, versus Gen Con.
So I'm choosing to bite the bullet. I am flying the transport pod. I hate that ship, but you know what? They're pretty good if you want to have a 5-ship squad for assistance. I'm actually experimenting right now between 2 squads. First being Trigger Happy Flyboy Poe, with Tally, Lulo, Jarek, and BB-8, and the other being 9, Elo, Tally, Jarek, and Finn. I believe the latter is better for objective play. But yeah, just having that extra ship just really does help with objectives. I used to be a 4-ship squad type of guy, and I always felt as if I was always being like a bit held back.
Yeah, it's the guy. I mean, I'm playing 3 ships, 3 or 4 ships
Well,
still.
3 ships.
Yeah.
Well, it's like your ship just try to do as much same as possible, right?
Yeah.
That's your win condition.
Yeah, so what would you give a rating on the ideal of those options? What would you give the scenario rating in the chat? You guys, what are you giving your list overall? Think long and hard about it and be honest with yourselves.
I don't think I've played enough of those squads to give an accurate rating, but I will say they're better than the 4-ship squads I was flying. So maybe 7. I know that seems like a cop-out answer, but a 7.
Yeah, I would probably give this is gonna sound weird, but the Han, Luke, and Wedgeless is actually better, I think, for most objectives than the Boba, Lima, Sarasu, Gamut, unless it's Salvage. Salvage is the only one where the scum list is better, but Assault, the large base, is, you know, Han can cover ground and get to other points easily, or just stay put and gather 2 or 3 a turn. I was able to do that a couple times in this game that's on screen right now. And then Luke is a great scrambler because he's got the Force. Wedge can scramble. He'll have a calculate from K2. He can keep his wings open. And then when it comes to salvage, as long as, honestly, I can take 2 crates somewhat comfortably with Luke and Wedge, and then try to knock off or just kill other things. So as long as, and my rule of thumb with salvage is, as long as you have a crate, and if you have 2, you're in good enough shape. 3, obviously, or more, you're really pushing the envelope a little bit. But it is difficult to maintain for both sides to have 5 crates off the board and claimed the entire game. It's just, people just don't want to take them. There's a lot of decisions being made taking that action. Scramble is a big one, right? The scenario actions are really hard. You're like, I really feel like I need to do this, but then I might end up dying or taking damage because I chose to do it this way. You got to be smart with how you approach the scenarios. So what is a scenario that you guys, with your list, that you get the most excited about playing? You're like, oh, this is perfect. Besides chance, because chance is anything goes, honestly. So I would be surprised you said salvage. So between scramble and assault, which one would you rather play with your list?
I'd say assault.
I'd agree.
Yeah, the large, you're playing a large base,
like,
so makes sense.
I tell like have to give up my action. It feels really bad.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so the 3 of us are playing the LCQ, right? Matt, you're playing the LCQ, or do you have an invite? Yep. Nice. Okay, and my understanding is it's 5 rounds, and then the top X number of people get into the main event for Swiss. It's the LCQ's on Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday.
It's Thursday, yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think I took Wednesday off. That's gonna be a lot of X-Wing. Like, the hope is to make it into the main event, and then you're gonna be playing against some of the best players. So, you know, it's a great opportunity to learn a lot and get better. and I've been able to get to the point where I'm at with X-Wing after a few years because I've just played in enough events and played against people like Matt Carey and Ryan Staniszewski and Tyler Tippett, and a lot of people that and that you've watched play before. So great opportunities. Worlds is going to be a big test. It's like, and I always look forward to the challenge, but it's a little nerve-wracking. And then, as speaking as a guy who's bringing a list that you're just like, really? I'm like, yeah, just gonna see what happens. Done well with it in the past. Top 16 at Gen Con, killed double decies with it. It's good. So it's just gotta hope the luck goes my way. Speaking of, how do you guys feel about where would you, in terms of scenarios versus dice, would you say X-Wing is more of a dice game now than it was before? Even though before we didn't have scenarios, there was just more of a methodical approach with how people engaged. Now it's a little bit different. So what would you guys say the ratio is of dice game to scenario game, strategy based?
I would say it's less of a dice game now because now we have so many ways to modify our dice. So
I feel like that could, depending on how you look at it, that could be a dice game thing.
Yeah, I guess. But like, in my opinion, like if it was a dice game, there's like some
you like like a blank out just completely folds the game for you. Yeah.
But if you're able to roll like 3 hits through changing your dice, then is it really a dice game?
What do you think, Matt?
I think X-Wing is still a dice game. It's just dice is not as important as it used to be because there's so many opportunities to score points now that aren't related to killing your opponent. Like killing your opponent's still like a big deal. Like if you kill Poe, that's 7 points. That doesn't put you.
It's always weird scoring points. Like you get nothing until you finally kill something, and then it's just a massive amount of points just swings in your favor or in your opponent's favor. What are you guys most scared about playing against? What keeps you up at night? And this is something for the chat too, guys, because what is this? What is the list? You're like, oh god.
Any iteration of Darth Vader, and especially with him with a bunch of ties, because that's great for like almost any objective game.
Tezzy says Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon is pretty nasty if used correctly.
Well, it's like the Vader and the boys with Ubel, like that stuff is just I've beaten that list twice now, and it's still like it was not like I didn't feel good about those wins though. It was like, man, like Ubel's just a monster with like the Gar Saxon straining and like my Poe does not like being strained. Like don't strain my Poe.
Oh yeah. I went up against Ubel like for the first time yesterday, and it's like, wow, his effective applies to himself. All right, cool.
So he gets the bonus attack, right?
Yeah. But
so he's
so it
8
if
hole
damage card. He's able to do another attack if he himself is damaged.
So you have to just sink a bunch of shots into him, fire torps or something at him, try to get crits into him.
So you kind of you're basically trying to rip off the band-aid. It's like
he's an I5
attack. Yeah, I5.
Yeah, that's fun.
It's nice when Poe can get like behind him and shoot him and do damage, and he's like, he can't shoot him, but. If you like the first time I went against him, I'm like, yeah, I'll joust him. Him and Lula will joust Ubel and we'll kill him, which we did kill him, but like Poe was down to like 1 hull after like everybody shot at him. I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Like, you won that fight, but you're like difficultly injured after.
Yeah.
At what cost?
And then I'm like, oh, I wanted these things to be good, right? Like it wasn't like this.
Yeah, and Ubel is only 5 points, 6 points.
Wait.
He's
5 or 4? 5. Okay, I thought it was 4 for a second. I was like, that's too good.
Oh yeah, that's bonus attacking. Right. I dealt with a lot of bonus attacks today. It's a difficult metric, difficult component of the game to balance, I think. Because the tie heavy, it's a bonus attack on a platform that is atrocious. Like it has a lot of health, but it's just 8 naked hull, 1 agility. You shoot at it twice, it's down to half. Probably, maybe even less. So that I guess Ubel is killable. However, the straining and stuff, if you're getting shot at by Vader, however, Vader will shoot first, so you probably won't be strained by that point.
Helps
maybe.
for the ties like Backstabber and Mauler.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like
that's
getting those like 3 dice and
I can't speak to it. I haven't played
Backstabber's
against
got
it
crack
yet,
shot.
but I know
It's-
Chambly did well with it at LVO.
they're nasty. And like Vader in any form. Like Manny
Yeah.
said, he's a monster.
Ugh,
Yeah.
yeah. Vader Defender is the one that for 3 or 4 ship lists is very scary.
Yep.
Like Manny, when you and I play like NW Vader Day, and I know it's 2.0, but like I will like have the worst engage. I'll lose my 2 other ships or my other ship, and I still think, and I'll be like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
you
it's
just
like
killed all these
Vader.
ships. I still have Vader. He still has health.
Yeah.
It's just and that's in 2.0 when you can't take like Juke and all these other upgrades. You'd run him naked. Now he's really terrifying because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you wanted to shoot me? Well, I'm gonna make you blow your mod because of Juke now.
Yep.
And Malice and-
HLC.
Yeah, they got to address stuff like that.
I mean, he was a beast. Like you said, he was a beast in 2nd edition when he was just by himself, and now now he gets all these extra toys.
I was gonna say it would be doable. Is it viable? I was like, yeah. If Ubel was 4 points, people would actually buy the heavy because it'd be busted at 4 points.
Well, you do 4 points, and you can build your own Vader instead of Battle of Yavin Vader.
Oh,
That list gets real nasty.
yeah. That's the only thing that the Battle of Yavin Vader is the best value. When I interviewed Dion at LVO, he's like, that's the best pilot in the game. Is the best value. He's got the 3 shields. He's got the afterburners.
Yeah.
6 points. However, his weakness is he can't take. I'm not saying that it's necessarily like he still has force, but he has to take the lock, right?
Yep.
He can't then focus, so he has to be more careful with how he blows his force. He has hate, but if he blows all his force, that first shot could be pretty nasty coming in.
Mhm.
He is a frustrating but somewhat killable strong piece in Empire. The issue is he's surrounded by his royal guards and his buddies. You can't kill him so easily.
You go all in on Vader, and then Ubel, Mauler,
Yeah.
and Backstabber just get to do whatever they want to you.
So Ubel, like with Ubel, is like it has to do with taking damage cards and you perform a bonus attack.
Yeah, any ship within range 0 to 2, you can attack. You can attack the attacker.
Yep.
So Ubel has to be like. He has
He
to be
needs to have
someone-
the attacker in his arc.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's not like.
gotcha.
Yeah, Dengar gets to just shoot anybody, right? In quick draw.
Dengar, Dengar is. I know quick draw is anybody. I think Dengar is the attacker.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And Zam, I think, is also just the attacker. But bonus attacking is something to look at. I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind a world of X-Wing where bonus attacking just doesn't exist. Where everybody's just gonna shoot at their
I'd be
initiative.
okay with
and,
that.
because that's like, I mean, and I'm that speaking as a guy that's playing. The reason why I'm playing Han is because not only is he points fortress, but then he's got Bistan and Baze, so it is basically a 4-ship list from a damage output, maybe 4.5 ships.
Or like at least have your second shot be either
Unmodded or something.
unmodded, or you can use any like upgrades. for
Yeah,
Your second shot. So like Yuval can't use sync laser cannons for a second time. He'll just have a standard attack.
what is the faction that you guys think going up against you would have the easiest time, that you would think would be a good matchup for you? Because the game has become very matchup dependent.
Is it better if I say Rebel?
Yeah, I mean, Rebel is definitely the weakest faction. Like,
Yeah.
there's stuff in Rebels that I'm like, I don't want to see that, but I don't think a lot of people.
Alright,
find
is there a
Rebels.
reason? Because like I feel the reason hasn't been properly explained. Is there something about Rebels that they're just too predictable, or
No, here's the way I see
shtick
it.
of sharing tokens is just like not as great as it used to be?
Everything got better and Rebels didn't, and Rebels kind of just stayed the same. And the things that got better than Rebels are also hard counters to a lot of the things that Rebels have as well.
You know what's crazy about the Rebel Alliance faction? They haven't had a new ship introduced in their faction since the Sheet of Beat came out. Like
Really?
they've had new pilots come
It's
out
true.
for all these factions.
That's
But-
true. It's a good point.
They haven't had a new actual ship in 2nd edition. And like every other faction's gotten something cool.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
They also Rebel, like their more fragile pieces are still just a point too expensive, like A wings or 4 point taking 4 point A wings that are like objectively bad for salvage and not going to get any
Like,
damage in on chance or like
like
they're
how Shara Bay like 4 points.
yeah. I mean, when she used to be able when she could take prockets, man, she was pretty filthy. But they made her loadout weak, and then they made her 4 points. It's just like it sucks. They bumped her up. They punished her for no reason.
I have a hard time like justifying any 4 point A wing that's not
Yeah.
like
RC2?
Hera or Ahsoka.
Ahsoka,
yeah.
and they're 5. I mean, that's
that's
tough.
crazy.
I don't feel the sunk cost in investing in Ahsoka. I never play Hera. I don't like Hera that much. The I6 is great, but Ahsoka is just survivable. Hera can die. So I'd rather have Ahsoka with her ability in the 3 Force at I5 than Hera, even though she can throw a token over. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's fair. The faction that I'm most scared about is probably Republic and then Empire.
Yeah.
But honestly, don't sleep on First Order because those 6 ship lists are ridiculous.
Yeah, they
Oh
Yeah.
my god, it is, and the Whispers too. That list that Crispy had been playing with Nightfall and with Midnight Malrus. Malrus is an incredibly strong piece in the First Order alone. Scorch has really carried his weight. You have a bunch of cheap 3-pointers that have double mods or extra attack dice and are amazing for salvage. Are great for assault. Can scramble better than most. I would put them in the top 3 personally.
Yeah, it's
to be worried
to
about.
me it's Empire, Republic, and First Order. Those are probably the top 3 factions I'm most scared of.
Well, First Order's got a ton of versatility too. Like, if you really want to go out and bring Silencer Kylo, like he's a good piece, you can still bring him and do really well with him.
Yeah.
And then there's the 6-ship FO list, which is nasty. They really got some decent pieces in the new Hot Shots
Yeah,
pieces.
DT, aka Borch. Borch is pretty good. Take the strain. You're at a lower initiative, so the strain doesn't matter at all.
Gaelic's cool.
Yeah, Gaelic's pretty solid. The Zai shuttle is getting a little bit more play again. Gideon and Malrus, Terex. Yeah, so and that's without them having access to the Upsilon. Thank God. I don't know what kind of. I can't imagine an Upsilon and a bunch of those ties. It doesn't sound like a good time.
I feel FO has gotten like the most hits when it comes to points updates, but they just don't seem to go away. They're always like hanging around. In the meta.
Well, the bombers
They
were
get
out of
hit.
control for a while. I mean, they were good in
Yeah.
2.0, and then they were just so frustrating to deal with. It's like, hey, you invested all this in a list that can do X, Y, Z. I'm gonna take away all that agency, and you can't ever avoid it. It's like,
Yeah. What if I just chaffed your whole list next round?
yeah,
You couldn't do anything about it.
yeah, and then they would like block you on the chaff again, or it's tough. The boost to skilled bombardier launch was
Yeah.
brutal.
Real nasty.
And now they're still good, but they have to serve a more specific purpose. They a less specific purpose. They can't just like get guaranteed chaff hits anymore. If they take the chaff, they can get it in the way, but there's no guarantee it's gonna. The force rate, it's a little bit harder. It's not super difficult, but you're now taking grudge purely for the chaff launch, and then hope that maybe you bomblet or something hits someone. You don't really do too much else. You're just a cheap piece at that point. But yeah, I mean, Rebels is they didn't nerf Rebels too much. I'd say the R3 R4 changes I think were the most unfair to Rebels because it's just like we don't really have that much right now, guys, and we're kind of making it even harder for us. The Battle of Yavin stuff turns out to be mostly just bad. Mostly.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised by that. I thought like those.
I mean, compared to the
C65s were going to do
Empire stuff, it's a joke. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Wedge and Luke is no one even people forget the Battle of Yavin Luke exists. He's that bad.
Well, yeah, because like it's the same cost.
It's the same cost. You don't have control over what you're putting on him. But here's the biggest thing that no one talks about is that you can't boost. You don't have your foils. You can only do your straight boost if you do a 3 to 5. It's just not good. X-Wings need to be able to boost and get out of someone's arc or like disengage. and losing that
yeah.
ability is also terrible. So the 4-pointers saw a bit of play, the Jeks and the Garvins, but APTs are just not good. They're the scariest thing that no one uses because it's so hard to get them off. You, especially a T65, if you're trying to get range 1 of something and you're an I4 and a T65, you're gonna die before you get the chance to shoot it in most cases because it's very predictable what you're trying to do.
I mean, I'm scared of Kylo with APTs, but he's also initiative 5 and can also mod those attack dice rolls.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the threat of Kylo's advanced pro torp is there, and I think that's at least half the battle with taking that. But plasmas and protons especially, are just so prevalent still. They're not as bad. I think you don't see them as often because Rebels are the pro torp faction and people aren't playing them. But they serve their purpose. They're honestly the only thing keeping these Republican Empire lists somewhat honest. That's why I was playing that scum list for a while, because it just seemed pretty dirty, and it is. It's like you got Boba, you got, just all these things working against people. But yeah, pricing. Let's talk about pricing too for Rebels. It is harder to. There are a lot of Greg brought up a good point on Nickel City X-Wing earlier, that the disparity between what you get for 4 or 5 points between each faction is so shockingly inconsistent.
Yep.
What I get for 4 points in Rebels is pretty bad. I mean, I can get a Sheath the Pete or a couple of A-Wings or a Battle of Yavin X-Wing or I think Colby. But then you go on over to Republic, and for 3 points, you're getting Contrail for 4 points, and Click for 4 points. You're getting ARC 170s with double mod capabilities.
Yeah.
An A-Wing versus an ARC 170. Oh my gosh, wow, it's different. It's a medium base, great for objectives. Go over to Empire. For 4 points, you're looking at you have a lot of decent options. I mean,
Reapers are 4 points.
Reapers are great. Faroff is awesome. Vizier has been taken a lot lately because of Palpatine. I mean, gosh, it's just the 4 or 5 pointers. It's and then you're paying 5 points for Ahsoka. And then for 1 more point on the FO side, you get a Whisper Kylo with 3-Force, enhanced jamming suite, an incredible dial, the opportunity to get 3 or 4 hits every time he's shooting. And Ahsoka's just trying to make a concussion missile work. We're hoping a Procket ends up working out in her favor,
Yeah. And then you look at Commander Malorus for 3 points with cluster missiles, and you're
That's a great example,
why?
Michael. Yeah.
Yeah. I5 too, which is just, come on, what doesn't she have? Have? I don't know.
I think Malorus is a she. Yep. Yeah. So, and you know what? What do you do about that? There's nothing you can do about it. I don't think there's an answer. I do think they maybe need to be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe make Jake 3 points for a little while and drop his loadout down so he can't be abusive, but he can help give people focuses. Jake is not the easiest support ship because you have to play him very specifically. If everyone's getting free stuff these days, it's free shit days these days. Free stuff X-Wing. We're playing these days.
I mean, back in the day, you'd roll up with Jake and you'd maybe have Predator on him, and that was what you would roll on him. He's there to just help his buddies out with focuses.
Yeah, and I think maybe the faction identity has been lost for Rebels because now they have to take things that are gonna just brutally beat the fuck out of people, and they're for the longest time it's no, we're the faction that supports and shares tokens and focuses on the long game and just being around and having more bodies. And now they can't really do that because it's what are you doing? You're bringing a bunch of A-Wings. You're never going to kill anything. Eventually your dice are going to fail you and you're going to feel bad.
Yeah, I also think that objectives also hurt Rebels a tad bit, because if your shtick is taking actions and sharing tokens, you can't take actions for objectives, right? So you can't do your shtick.
Yeah.
Well, you bring benthic 2 tubes to pass out focus tokens.
Yeah, the U-Wings, that's another one. The U-Wings are 5 points. I don't know if they should be 4, but there's just so many awkward chassis in Rebels.
It's kind of odd that other than Nick's list, the only Rebel list that I see kind of making cut are the 4 U-Wings.
God, that sounds disgusting.
The only reason why I believe it's not played is because who owns 4 U-wings?
Yeah, that's true. I have two.
I got two.
I got
I got Saw's
two.
Renegade and then the original one.
Same.
Rebels, once you go into extended, they get better, like significantly better. But alas. Oh, let's see. What else? There's so many things to talk about with Worlds. All right, here's a question. When it comes to practicing, do you guys believe that? For me in school, like I studied and, you know, especially for important exams, but they got to the point where I felt like I like just playing more, studying more didn't really end up mattering. Like it's just like you're just kind of, it's just repetitions, right? So do you feel like with X-Wing you can kind of get into this like you're overthinking it, or you're just playing too much when it comes to preparing for events like this? Or is there never, you know, too much practice or too many reps? How do you view that? Like, do you try not to overdo it, or is it good to play 100 games in a couple weeks?
I mean,
Online play is a great
you're not
resource.
Stressing over it. More practice is never a bad thing, as long as you're not stressing over it. Or
I
at
think
least,
it can put thoughts in your head, right? If you have some bad luck,
true.
you're like, man, I don't think this list is good, and then you take something worse.
You used to fly Wedge, Luke, and Kanan, or who else?
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
the Ghost instead of
The
like, the Falcon,
greatest
right?
decision I ever made was not bringing that to Gen Con.
Yeah, and like you're practicing with that, and I was able to be like a couple times, and you just swap from the Ghost to the Falcon. So I guess like that's an example where practice did kind of help, right?
Michael, do you mean it's good to try a game with lists you expect to see? You mean you play the lists you expect to see? Here's the issue with that, is that your opponent most likely isn't versed or well enough versed to give you good enough practice with meta lists, unless they play that faction or they are, you know, it's just, you don't feel like, even though you're like going through the motions, like unless you're playing like the Swiss Army man of factions and they know, you know, how the list works and everything, it's tough. You know, like Dan was playing Paul Heaver's list in this game that's on screen, but Dan hasn't, you know, he hasn't played a ton with it, and he's still learning parts of it. It's what you're talking about after this game. Every list is, you know, played differently because of the player that is in control of them. So I try not to. I just tell people, like, play what you want, because ultimately you're going to see the same exact thing for half of your Swiss games, is people just bringing something that they want to try or they think could be good, and then you have the meta, you know, net listers. In the
What's the Top Gun quote? It's not the plane, it's the pilot.
Yeah, I think if you have the time, I don't think it's a bad idea to try these meta lists yourself and try to understand how these lists work. But I understand not everybody has the time to just
to not play your list and practice it.
To not play your list for practice. But I mean, if you can catch stream games of people flying these meta lists, like,
yeah,
you recommend watching those.
Absolutely. Watch games, guys. It's a great way. It's a good point, especially if it's like slow day at work, you're traveling, whatever. Just pop on a game, just listen to it, watch it if you can. The commentary can be really helpful. But also sometimes commentary, like, X-Wing isn't so black and white. There are in the moment, the heat of the moment, you have all these options in front of you, and it's easy to be like, oh, I should have done this one thing, you know, because obviously one different decision can completely change the course of a game, and the outcome. But it's just important to look at, it's a dance with you and one other player. You have to play against them, and they're making their own decisions. So, you know, we don't have full control over winning games. You know, a lot of things have to happen for us to be able to win. So, you know, it's important to remember that, because this game is super tilting. I mean, I had a tilting game earlier, but ultimately it was a good game, and you know, I'll get over it, Michael. In 2 to 3 business weeks, I'll finally get over the game.
2 to 3 business weeks.
Yeah.
There's a comment that's asking, like, when is the next points update? I personally believe that they're gonna, like, throw out an update like a week before.
No, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that.
I don't know. I still feel
so crazy.
I feel like it's a strong possibility. I don't know. Again, like, they were willing to change the entire game a week before Adepticon last year. So what's the point? What's a point update?
People would be so mad.
Oh yeah, people. would be
Desi,
pissed.
7 games. Yeah, 7 games. There could have been. I still have a Friday. I think I closed off the Friday signups, but yeah, I'm lots of X-Wing. I'm doing a lot of streaming. So, yeah. AMG specifically said they wouldn't have changes before Worlds.
Oh well, that. Okay, you know what? I don't believe them. I'm taking the same opinion.
Hey,
that
I
I'm
would say
having
it's
with
not the
Joe-
first time that they would pull a surprise because they have said things that they have not followed through with before. Buddha, was that through a Facebook DM that they revealed that information to you, or did they actually, say it on the stream? Or get wrecked, Manny. Drew, the captain of the
Reaction-
Korg Confederacy of Independent Systems.
My reaction to AMG is the same reaction that I have to Joe Biden, who's playing to run. He's not gonna run. Even if he states he's gonna run, he's not gonna run.
AMG is Joe Biden confirmed. AMG is just like, we're adding scenarios, and it's just like them with the sunglasses and the ice cream. Like we're adding scenarios, Jack.
Yeah.
No half points, Jack.
No matter what
CFIS.
the evidence is, no matter if it's overwhelming,
No matter what.
AMG, I still think they're gonna throw a bomb.
So-
for Worlds.
Here's something that I've noticed playing in a bunch of 2.5 events now is that I don't know about you guys, but like by lunchtime after that second round, with just kind of like the heat of competition and the value and strategic factor that scenarios play in our games, I am so exhausted. I am fucking wiped, and it's not even halfway through Swiss. Like,
I know.
am I the only one? Because I
not.
can stick with it. I've played in a bunch of these for years, but it is just so exhausting, especially most games are close, right? Most games get to 20 points. The margin's
It's
4 or
not-
5.
It's not like it used to be where it's like you could be done with the game in like 30. I mean, you can be done with games in like 35 minutes, but it definitely happened like, 35 minutes. I can just go out in the parking lot and have a beer.
Yeah.
Like,
It's more rewarding when you do
time
well,
for
I
that.
would say, that feeling. Like you feel like you really earned making cut when you make cut. Games are harder, more competitive. I mean, they're definitely more, I don't know if
100%.
stressful is the right word, but they're more, it feels more intense. Because especially in chance, the game kind of teeters. Like, how often are you winning in chance by more than like 5 or 6 points?
Yeah, if like 3 or 4 hours of X-Wing has me more exhausted than like 2 hours in a gym, I'm like, something's up. The game is definitely more stressful.
Yeah,
and
the brain energy is
more
tremendous.
competitive.
Blackberry Jam,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
like
That's the thing. Yeah,
so
you
much-
just want to
yeah,
nap.
because like so much more depends on a move now. Like like every move has like so much just has so much stakes now, especially since everything's high initiative. If like your squad is I5 and the opponent's squad is I5, you got to take
Yeah.
account of the road roll, and yeah, every move is just higher stakes.
It's just tough thinking about like, okay, is this move good to do if I'm first or second player?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like that's I think-
First, that's another thing. Great point. Thank you. Segue over or leading into the next, little conversation topic is, the way that we feel about road. I honestly, at this point, I was super hesitant. I was bitching about it a lot when it first came out. I was pretty bummed out. I really do enjoy the randomness because it makes it so that people can't like meta game certain turns. They can't like be like, this is the most optimal move because it's guaranteed I'll be here and I can do this, I can boost, I can whatever. You just don't know. However, there are matchups where it is just so pivotal that literally you lose games on a single road roll.
yeah.
More often than I personally would like. It is what it is, but it blows when it comes down to that. Because then your opponent, you will be like, oh, if I got to go first, or if I went after you, I would have been able to do this. My 4K would have fit. Whatever. People be like, well, just play better or plan better or whatever. Plan around that.
Can't play
Sometimes you
around that.
cannot do that.
Can't.
Sometimes you just gotta pick what you think could work out in your favor. Because if it does work and you do win that roll or they win the roll, then you picked an optimal move, you gambled, and it worked, and it paid off. I kind of
And
like
is
the
that-
excitement of that, but it also gets super frustrating.
And I don't think that's like the core issue. The core issue is that everyone's taking high initiative ships, right? So the solution is or like the question is, how do we make lower initiative ships more liable in the meta so these road rolls are not so are not like a huge factor in
Yeah.
determining who wins.
I would say that it's like, I feel like on average in like my games and the fact the way the meta is with higher initiative pilots, it's like 75% of the time you're like thinking about the road roll for that turn and like, gosh, I really hope I get, to move last or whatever.
I mean,
especially with
I roll up-
locks, taking target locks.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like if I roll up and I'm like, oh, there's no I6 in this game, I'm gonna have a good time. Like I'm gonna have a great time. Poe's gonna be able to just do whatever he wants. You get another 6 in there, it's like, all right, now I gotta think like, where's Anakin gonna go? Like, oh, he can just turn around and get rid of his stress, and it's just there's a lot more to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Incredibles quote where if everyone is I5, no one's I5.
Desi brings up a good point. I don't know what the best course of action for this is, but scramble is pretty useless for lower initiative ships. Just kind of blows. They're literally wasting actions and then dying for it. So making it so only one ship can activate, or something along the lines where there's a limit overall a total number limit that in one turn. Because I mean, like I had a game earlier where Kyo would scramble and then it would just get taken right back. And if it wasn't for Ahsoka giving Kyo evades, I would be screwed.
Well, if you do that rule where only one can activate it, I think maybe you do something like in my list, BB-8 goes up, you take a scramble action and you gain a calculate token.
Yeah, or like be able to take like a red calc or something, or maybe to make it, because then if that would throw off the whole one ship rule, would throw off comebacks and like people's opportunities to win games. Maybe you make it so that you have to make it neutral, and then a third ship has to claim it back on your side. So one ship, low initiative ship rolls up, claims it. It wasn't taken. It was no one had it, claims it. Your ship rolls up, neutralizes it, so no one has it, and then a third ship has to come in and take it. I know that there was not you don't have to roll a die. It's just that's the sequence of events. There's like a little bit more of a dynamic to like being able to just guarantee yourself points and abuse, what a higher initiative ships can naturally abuse is just moving after. I don't really know though. I mean, I don't have a huge beef with scramble personally, but it just kind of blows to. That's another incentive to not bring all these cool lower initiative pilots, because they're pretty useless in scramble. And scramble's 25% of the objective games, scenario games you're going to play. So I6s are best at getting ship destruction points. Maybe objectives should be designed so I6s aren't the best at getting them. Yeah, I'm not. Crazy design space design theory talk. Sorry, Manny, what were you gonna say?
Like, if you're gonna make a rule saying like no ship higher than I4 can take a objective action, I don't know, because other than like objectives, since everything has so many upgrades and it's just in general deadlier, having a low initiative ship that can easily get initiative killed is just in itself a risk.
Yeah. So I think that's another maybe reason why not a big one, but a factor with Rebels is that there's a lot of I4s, I3s and I4s, a lot. And I4 is just a little too low. Just a little too low. Shouldn't feel so low, but if only I1 through I4 would be able to do objectives.
Yeah, that's true. But at least I don't know.
I think just setting a limit.
Ship, you just kind of focus on killing other ships rather than objectives.
Or like,
I don't know.
If there's like some sort of like if it's already been claimed, you have to take like a strain or a deplete or a stress or something to claim it back. I don't know. That's kind of punishes people for playing the objective though, so I don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Just make lower initiative ships great again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or just give them like a bunch of loadout. That could be another reason.
Yeah.
Another idea.
Just design new things. How about you do that, Buddha, and I will sign off on it because I have so much authority here. Yeah. So, what else is on your guys' minds with? Okay. Here's another thing. I think there's a consensus that right after Worlds, there's going to be some sort of, I think a lot of people will want and welcome some sort of shakeup. What are some things that you would like to see or would hope to see, and what are things that you would hope they do not do? Manny, I'll start with you.
Okay. I would definitely like to. So I would hate for them to see what Empire, FO, and the Republic are doing, and just increase the points like what they did with the Y-wings, rather than so instead of nerfing a couple of factions, I believe you should increase the viability of other factions. So you should make things cheaper for the other factions, because it definitely feels like we're getting into like a rotation where stuff is cheap, then the cheap stuff gets overplayed, then AMG prices them back up again, and then new stuff will probably be cheaper and rinse and repeat. Case in point will probably be like the Y-wings, how they were dropped to 3 points from 4, but then they were overplayed, and instead of like trying to find some middle ground, they're just like, nope, they're going back up to 4 again. So I guess like trying to wield the nerf hammer a bit like effectively, to not, to use a chisel instead of a sledgehammer, I guess.
Wartime chassis, its own chassis. That's something that a lot of resistance players want.
Yeah.
Those poor Y-wings, man. It's like they just want, they got a little bit of time in the sun doing their best first order bomber impression.
Well, like even like Zori gets played now, but like without R4, like
she's kind of useless.
She's always taking red actions. Like,
here's 2 things that I want to see, and then I'll go into the bigger picture stuff that we'll talk about. But first thing is Dutch Vander gets 16 loadout points. It's bullshit that Lee Mackay gets more loadout points than Dutch, and it just like his ability is good for, he's gonna die, so his ability is good for like 1, maybe 2 rounds. Okay, they're like, oh, he shouldn't have. No, proton torpedoes isn't let him take R3. Just let him be able to take a droid like that's useful for his ability, so he can take 2 locks. So Dutch Vander gets 16 loadout, and then the Mandalorian, in exchange for losing some loadout value, should go down to be the same cost as Q9. And Q9 can gain a couple of loadout points if they feel like that would make him unplayable. So those are a couple of things I want to see.
I want Black to Kevin Wexley to be 5 instead of 6.
Ooh, he's 6 points.
Yeah, he's 6 points.
Yikers. Yeah, that's not good.
Why would you ever take him then?
Yeah, exactly.
6-point X-Wings in general, unless it's like
you can't make a squad with 4
Yeah.
T-70s with him, and I guess you can take Say, and then it's a squad of 4 T-70s, but still, it's not great.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on changing the? Do you feel like I personally think we should wait a little bit longer before changing the scenarios to different scenarios. What are your thoughts on that? A, what are your thoughts on that? 2, what are your thoughts on it being more than 4 in a rotation? That kind of terrifies me, honestly, having more than 4. So Matt, you first.
As far as changing the scenarios, I think I would be okay with that. Just depending on what the changes are. I don't have anything specific in mind, but I'd be fine with something freshening it up a little bit. But more than 4, I think I'd be fine with like maybe not more than 4, but if they introduced like a rotation, like you always have chance, and like this season it's chance, scramble, and 2 other ones.
Yeah.
And then next season it's, you always have chance because people want a dogfight. You have chance, salvage, and then I think a rotating scenarios would be fun.
Yeah, Buddha says since there's 5 rounds, he'd bet all his nickels that there's going to be a 5th scenario. It is a little awkward when it resets and it goes back to salvage for the 2nd time or something. I would, when I interview Chris Allen, which I'm going to try to get that footage up and edited for you guys so you can check that out. That was a cool, quick little interview that Manny helped me with. He basically said he thinks that half points is bad and they should just get rid of chance. I wouldn't be opposed to a season where the scenario that they replaces chance, a new scenario, just chance is taken out, so that everything because it gets really weird when you get used to playing 75% of the scenarios, and all of a sudden you have to pay attention to how important it is when your opponent can score half points. It just really throws me off. I'm like, yeah, I've been playing this version of the game for a long time, but I'm getting hammered in my head that we're playing a different game. So chance is like walking it halfway back, and you round down with half points, and so if you don't do half points the other scenarios, I think we should just get rid of it entirely.
Yeah, so either half points for everything or no half
or
points at all.
no half points at all. And I think we're more likely to have a world where there's just no half points at all than to have it on everything. I think the balancing becomes wacky. But that was a question I asked. I think about, Manny, what do you think? Like maybe 50 to 60% people said that they wouldn't be opposed. It was a majority. It wasn't a large majority of the people I asked. Would you be in favor of half points for all scenarios? I think most people said yes.
Really? Because I think most people said no.
Well, it depends on. I think the first day, all but like one person said yes, and then I'm now. We did 2 more days, right? So, but I want to say, yeah, it was probably a 50-50 split if I'm thinking hard enough. So it wasn't super popular. And that was with the caveat that it would be balanced. They would figure out a way to balance it. Half points only okay if they reduce the number of objectives. Yeah, they would have to. They would have to change
or
stuff.
Increase like the score limit.
Yeah. How do you feel about just making salvage 3 crates? I would love that.
I would love that. I would love if every objective was just 3 objectives. No more 5, just 3.
Yeah, that would be.
I would love that.
Oh, that'd be so good.
So there's one thing that I don't want AMG to do, but they're probably gonna do it. And like once they do, that's when we know that objectives are just like here to stay, or that they feel pretty confident in their interpretation of objective play. Is when like new pilots come out with abilities to how to deal with objectives. So like a pilot that is able to take an objective action and take another action, right? I know, stuff like that.
So Vader or Poe.
That I mean,
just kidding.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm hesitant on that is like similar to the reasons why I'm against putting like the point cost on ships like back in the 1.0 days, is because you kind of make it hard. Like the reliability is pretty dependent on the changes of the game, or at least a change could happen to the game that would make them either extremely good or just not taken at all. If you're to get rid of objectives altogether, then those pilots are straight up useless.
I do think the game has a lot more depth with objectives. Like no game feels the same, which is cool. It is exhausting though. Like I'll just rehash that. I get tired playing at games of X-Wing. That's why I'm pretty discouraged from playing on Tabletop Simulator now, because I'm just like, I feel like I'm going through so many hurdles in my head, and by the end of it, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired. But yeah, I mean, I think we're still kind of phasing out the last of the FFG product line. AMG hasn't really been able to put their like stamp on anything yet, and that's why Worlds is such a big deal. Okay, how do you guys feel about the price support for Worlds overall?
A lot better than it used to be.
It looks cool. I think Tanner, when planning Fate Syndicate, mentioned that it's supporting, it's some cool stuff for a faction that isn't good, which is par for the course. Which is like price support for X-Wing. They tend to be a little weird with how they select things. Just like the timing is bad. The templates are cool, right? I don't know if I need another set of templates, but they look cool.
They look really cool.
I'm not crazy about like. I like about Rebels, but they look cool.
We get it, Rebels. Everyone hates Rebels. Like everybody hates Chris. Everybody hates Rebels.
I wish that the prize support was for, it's cool to have like Rebels themed prize support.
It's kind of discriminatory, right? Where you have 6 factions excluded. You're just like, nah.
Yeah. But it'd also be nice if like, there's a possibility that Zeb Aurelius and the TIE Fighter would be on the table. Like someone could win this Zeb card and then use it, but like I guarantee you no one's
yeah, Zeb Aurelius and the TIE Fighter, folks. Let's get pumped up. I've watched him be like 6 points right now. He's just like super overcosted because why not?
But he can cancel Chris before hits,
Salvage
It's
good.
odd that they chose Sabine in the shuttle and not in like an A-wing?
Is she in the shuttle?
I believe so.
That
Oh,
seems-
oh, she's definitely not in the A-wing.
Well, either way, she's not playing.
He says Sabina's
Yeah.
TIE fighter. Yeah, you remember when they used to do the hyperspace
Shuttles,
kit
okay.
that it was like the first order stuff? Like you had like a first order damage deck, like a silencer damage deck. It was just like, we're gonna go all in on first order this season. It's like, why can't we just like go all in on like 3 or 4 factions and just like have options for people?
Yeah.
Like they did the weird thing where they had like ship specific damage decks, like you win a B-wing damage deck. It's like, what the fuck? Like B-wing damage deck? Come on. Like, what are we doing? Like, I just sometimes, just because they design the game, they create stuff for the game, doesn't mean they know the game and that they're in like great touch with what's going on in the game. But hey, new prize support we haven't seen before. I'll definitely take it. I need to loop the video here. Let me actually add a different game while I can, since we're still talking. Here we go.
How's the communication between AMG and the player base? Because there's like times where, or at least some cases where the devs have no relationship with the community. I don't know what the status of that is with X-Wing.
I think it's better than most. I mean, FFG also did try to make an effort of connecting with players. They had like points of contact and people that were on site for events, like Matt Holland, who were good reps. But I do think AMG is smaller. At the time, FFG was pretty big, and then they kept cutting and cutting, and then they cut again, and for the last time. So their communication skills online is awful. They're still struggling with that. I think they have whoever handles their online communication. I think does like 5 other things. They don't have a proofreader. I refuse to let them, convince me they do. They're not actually a proofreader. It's not an easy job actually being a proofreader.
You can tell that to the Legion guys. They
Yeah.
have lots of misprints on their stuff.
Right. But yeah, hopefully, the price support LVO is great. We were passing out dice, and I know that it wasn't new stuff, but they were at least they were showing their appreciation for people making the effort. Something we did not get at Gen Con, which is a huge shame, and they should be ashamed of themselves. But I think they are ashamed of themselves and are making the extra effort now. So good for them, and I'm happy to see it. Hopefully, this opens the doors for, cooler prize support in the future, and a continued healthy lifespan of the game, because I think we all want to see this game stick around for the next few years. I really don't want to see a 3.0 for a while, because we only had 2.0 for a year. If you count just the world championship cycle, it was a single year. So let's stick with 2.5 for a while.
I had no idea.
We have one world champion for 2.0. We don't even have a 2.5 world champion. We will soon. But since 2019, we have one single X-Wing, world champion. COVID, obviously.
Wow.
But it's kind of funny to think about it that way. You're like, wow, it's
That feels
4
like
years.
10 years ago.
Seriously.
No, only had 1 year. That's insane.
Yeah.
All right then.
I was 2 girlfriends ago, guys.
Oh, what a great unit of measurement.
Yeah, right.
Great unit of
Yeah, it's like,
measurement.
oh my god, a lot has changed. A lot has changed in my life since then. So yeah, I know Desi, I'm gonna see you there. Matt, I'm gonna see you. Manny's gonna be with us. Kuba's gonna be there. Kuba's on screen there in the game. Buddha's gonna be there. Greg, Michael, are you? Shively is he's still here. Are you gonna be there? Please, if you say hi, even if you lurk on the chat here, or we haven't met properly, would love to meet you all, and I'm most excited just for the community aspect of being able to play with you all. And X-Wing has been a big staple of my life, and meeting people, and also Kuba recommended me for the job that I have now, because we met through X-Wing. So you just never know. You have a ticket but might not be able to afford travel. No, the Isophane donate. Please donate Isophane. Give more money so Michael can go. Well, I hope you're able to work that out, man. But I get that it's not easy to travel. It's brutal. So I doubt we're going to see many people from overseas, unless they have that full expenses paid ride like Ollie. I don't think we're going to see. We'll definitely see a bunch, but I don't think we're going to see a ton. especially because X-Wing is also just not that popular outside of like the UK. I just there are pockets in different countries, but I don't know. Some of these changes I think just turned away people permanently overseas. So I'm actually really curious to see the demographics that show up, where they're from. So, all right, before we just have a couple more things to talk about here tonight in our topics before we move on and close it out. Let's quickly talk about. I think I'm like behind by a couple of episodes on the Bad Batch, but Matt, are you caught up?
I am caught up, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Without
I'm
like
behind,
spoiling the last
episode or
couple
two as well.
episodes, how are you in comparison to season 1 now? We're pretty deep into this. How are you feeling about season 2?
It's fine. I feel like this show needs to find a direction.
Yeah.
I don't want the show to end, but it definitely needs like something that it's building towards. 'Cause
Yeah.
Honestly, I think they need to pop out 2 episodes every week.
Yeah.
When
The
they,
stuff with
like-
Rampart is interesting, but it's like, where are we
Yeah.
getting with this? The first season just had so much headway and so much steam and like a lot of purpose. And I think they are, That's a good point. The way that honestly, you're the sigh, starting with the sigh and this being like it's fine, and just kind of going from there. It's all just perfectly describes how I felt about it. It's like I don't want it to end. I want to watch it, but like it hasn't been good enough for me to even remember that it's been like I've forgotten multiple times that a new episode had come out. Not a great sign. It just means it hasn't hit the mark enough, for me personally. But
Yeah, those 2 episodes about the clones that I'm like,
that was
those
good.
are great. It's like the series, like, okay, there's like 2 episodes and they're great. Then like a filler episode that you could just like completely skip.
lots of filler
And
episodes.
then, it's like there's lots of good stuff in here, but it's like too spread out.
Yeah.
And in between, like, I like the filler episodes.
I'm getting
It's
too
kinda
much
brutal.
tech. Unfortunately, I think tech is not. He belongs as a background character who has his quips and says a few things, but we're focusing on tech a lot. I'm like,
I gotta be honest.
It looks great.
I don't
it's
care about the Bad
beautiful.
Batch. Like,
Dude, they were really
I don't care
bad in
about
the
the
Clone Wars
characters.
season 7, but the first
Oh, yeah.
season, I like Hunter, like I grew attached to. I had attachments to all but not Crosshair. I actually really liked him too. I did not feel at all any attachment. No, not even Wrecker. I actually liked Wrecker's relationship with
Omega?
With Omega. It was Tech and Echo a little bit. Even Echo felt kind of just there, just as a device.
Because like of the history.
Yeah, but he's
really
just
with the
there.
character.
Yeah. Otherwise, he's just kind of a dude that has a history of getting messed up
Well,
by some droids.
And now he's gone. But like I'm more interested in the series to see like that again, like the transition from like Republic to Empire. I don't care about the characters. I'm more interested in what actually happened. And I feel like the Bad Batch is a great way to show that, but there's just some episodes that are just like a slog to get through because they don't deal with that issue. But yeah,
I think if they want to be like a mission of the week kind of show, they need to like explicitly state like, okay, our job is to now go out to different planets and help people who are throttled by the yoke of the Empire. But it's just not, and I'd be fine with that. Just say like, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna see how the Empire just abuse these mid and outer rim worlds to essentially like make.
But that's kind of what Andor has been doing, right? So we might start oversaturating that theme a little bit as well. I can't get enough of the Empire doing bad stuff, but I think the political fallout of like Order 66 and like the hierarchy of like Rampart and the Emperor and hiding information and the Camino cover up is all stuff that they can lean into a lot heavier, and they need to make that decision and just do it.
yeah.
Oh. Palp's twist was I have not seen some of. I haven't seen it, so.
I haven't seen. Oh, okay.
That's
Then
fine.
gotta watch
Well,
those
does he go? Does he goes? Does he do the little like twirl? Does he do the little thing where he like the horizontal dash or whatever you call it?
sadly no.
No. That's
But-
too bad.
I do hope. I guess this might be like a bit dark, but I mean I hope they die at the end. I hope all the Bad Batch kind of they die in like a heroic effort to like to do something. I feel like they'll make their impact a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna get old.
I hope everybody
soon.
just dies. They should all die. All right, we're moving on from the Bad Batch. Second to last little topic here before we end the night is a quick if I were president, which is similar to hot takes, but if you were president, you could exercise your authority over the American people with an executive order. It might not sound constitutional in your head. Who cares? You know, we don't say many constitutional things here. What would your executive order be? We each get one. So I have one, so I'm gonna let you both think about it. Cool. While I say mine. This has been on my mind.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, the Variety announced Warner Brothers is going to be rebooting the Lord of the Rings franchise. Not specifically necessarily the movies, but there is a possibility that they decide to reboot the times of the Third Age with the Lord of the Rings. And my executive order would be that for publicly consumed, not publicly owned, but publicly consumed franchises, like Harry Potter, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, to name three big ones. I would say that I would institute a petition that once it gets enough signatures, no matter what the company wants to do, they are not allowed to do it. So if through a legal and reputable mean, a petition was created to bar Warner Brothers from recreating the Lord of the Rings, and it got 1 million signatures, they wouldn't be able to do it. So that's my if I were president, I would institute a public petition system to stop corporations from ruining things we love.
First Amendment has entered the chat.
All right, who's next? Who wants to take this next one?
I would sign an executive order that orders Disney to reimburse everybody in America for the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Like if you went to see the movie, you get all your money back plus some for emotional damage, and then they have to just give money to
Oh my
everybody
god,
else
that
just
would be
because.
so draining. It would be hilarious. Oh, that's good.
Oh, interesting.
Tesla should
Okay.
do that with their cars too. They would go out immediately.
Like I just after watching The Rise of Skywalker, I was just like,
Yeah.
I want my money back.
Felt taken advantage. You felt violated, right?
I felt
Like your
taken
eyes were
advantage of.
violated. You were taken advantage of. It's like, how stupid do they think Star Wars fans are? I honestly felt like a child watching that
I
movie.
felt
Like
insulted watching.
I was so insulted. Yeah. Bruh. All right, Manny.
All right. If I was president, I would give Florida back to Spain. I would just like,
That's a good one.
I would like take, I would just take a saw and cut Florida off the map and just said, "Hey, Spain, you have it back free of charge."
And Texas can secede. See ya. Peace.
Yeah, Texas. I mean,
Where do we
on the
put the
ground.
electoral
No, no,
votes?
no.
Do we just pile it all into Rhode Island?
will Mexico have? Will Mexico have Texas back? Free of charge. There's no succeeding. We just sell
They could have
Texas
They
to
could have
Mexico
Ted
for
Cruz and Greg
$0.
Abbott. They could have Ted Cruz and Greg Abbott, and we could go from there. Good stuff. Oh man, that was a good segment of if I were president. All right, so before we do our giveaway, which I have a couple of dial covers from Kago 2 to give away, beautiful dial covers. But before we do that, I sent Manny, instead of showing you guys like meme pictures, I sent Manny a Mark Zuckerberg deepfake on Instagram.
God.
That is so bad and scary and funny. So we're gonna do that really quick. So I'm gonna
I believe you
hop
sent me
on my
that,
Instagram.
like late at night at like 2 a.m.
Oh
So
yeah,
I saw
super
that
late.
video in the morning.
Oh, it was
which,
terrified.
Like in my bed, it was like it was even more weird. The fact that I was in my bed watching the video.
Oh man, so good. All right, let's see. I gotta go over to. You guys are gonna see everything. Messages. Manny. Okay. It's so bad. All right, I want to make sure that you guys can see. I think I'm gonna just blow it up a little bit. Here we go. All right, here we
I
go.
wanna see it again.
Oh, no, 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 no! Don't run away! You're wearing an anklet, and if you leave, it will detonate. No, don't leave! No, don't call the police. If you call the police, it won't work actually because the landlines are cut. Your husband is safe. I mean, His body is alive, at least. I'm just inhabiting it for now.
His body is
We'll be
alive.
happy together. I'll make us an egg.
With Sweet Baby Ray's.
Boil it, too. With Sweet Baby Ray's? Yes, yes.
The Annihilation music really does it for me, though. Like, it's just like a perfect storm of awful. Oh, like, he's like, I put an egglet on you, and if you run away, it will detonate. That's how Mark Zuckerberg. That is the way he talks. But the way he's the Sweet Baby Ray's part. I don't know if you guys know that video. Mark Zuckerberg during COVID tried very hard to come off as a regular person. So he did like a live stream with his friends in his backyard, cooking barbecue, and he kept talking about Sweet Baby Ray's, but he would say it like it was like an alien trying to come off as relatable. It was like, yeah, and we'll cook it with some Sweet Baby Ray's, and he said Sweet Baby Ray's like 100 times, like a compilation of it in like one live stream. And oh man, I definitely don't want Sweet Baby Ray's after hearing Mark Zuckerberg talk about it. Let's see if I can find one more good one here on the IG. I always send Manny some good ones. Let's see. Should I show them the Chad one, the Gigamon one? I have to scroll up for that one. I feel like it's fitting for the Tinder Gods thing. Hold on. Scroll it up. Here we go. All right, here you go, guys. It's so perfect. Dude, clearly too much of this shit. They made a second one. It's not nearly as good as the first one. 1.3 million likes. Wild. Oh, so good. I'm obsessed with that video. It's just the production quality. They like made those cards, and they actually, you could pause the frame and read them, and it's like Riz, like maximum Riz, Sigma face. Like, it's just like, I can't believe this. Oh my god, the internet is ridiculous. All right, it's giveaway time. The last thing we do here before we head out. I think I have the giveaway animation. Where do I have it? I have it somewhere, but yeah. You know what time it is? It's that giveaway time. Nick's going to give us some free shit. All right, so I'm going to open up. We're going to do two separate giveaways. I'm going to open up Nightbot here, and you have to type 312 to be entered to win. Here are the, we have a Y-Wing Rebel. Speaking of how amazing the Rebels are, I'm going to actually have to adjust the focus here so you can see it.
Oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, so this is a Kago 2 dial cover. You just pop out the inner part of the dial, and you put the little, whatever you call that thing, pop it in there, secure it, and now that's your dial cover. I use one for Dutch. These are beautiful. They're this like very thick, hard, good stuff acrylic. And then the second giveaway will be a same thing, but TIE Interceptor with a cool TIE Pilot design on there. So type 312, just type 312. You know, Rebels are going to be okay. They're not like horrible, but it's definitely not the faction of choice for 95% of people right now, except for me. I'm in that 5%.
I mean, AMG has a incentive to make them like pretty better at what they are now, because Rebels, they're pretty popular.
Yeah. Also, yeah, the Disney show is called Rebels. Come on. Come on. All right. So we got a few people in. Type 312 here. Let's let Matt go to bed. Matt is in Eastern time, so it's a little later for him.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So thank you so much, man, for making the time. I really appreciate it. I hope you've had a good time.
Yeah, I have.
And I definitely want to return the favor and jump on your guys' show. We'll figure that out at some point.
We will.
Cool. All right, I'm going to count down. Remember, 2 giveaways. The first giveaway is going to be the Rebel dial cover, the Y-Wing. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1, 2, Michael Shively, Mr. Rebel player over there. He's not playing double fire sprays. He's playing a Rebel Y-Wing. Hopefully you're playing Pops. Michael wins. And then the Interceptor. Type exclamation point win. Michael, fill out that form for me, please. Is Blackberry Jam Studios. Blackberry Jam, I believe you are in Canada. So here's the deal for the folks that you didn't realize. The post office has decided that even mailers that are as light and as small as an envelope, if there's literally anything that isn't a letter in the mailer, they will send it back to me. So that means I have to fill out the customs form and pay, you know, 10, 15 bucks. So Blackberry Jam, I am more than happy to send this to you if you don't mind, you know, helping me pay for the shipping. Just let me know if you're not interested and want me to re-gift it. I am happy to do that. All cards do not follow the same issue. I can always put cards in an envelope and put 3 stamps on them, but for acrylic and tokens, it's different. So give it away to someone else. All right, sounds good. The winner, Gordo the Third. Gordo! All right, y'all. It has been The Realist. Thank you so much for watching the 312 show, season 2, episode 3. We have 7 games of X-Wing starting tomorrow at 10 o'clock Central. Check our Twitch schedule. You can also go to our Discord at the top. There is a weekly stream schedule with the updated info. So please stick around for this week. Not stick around tonight. Please go to bed for more X-Wing. Matt will be with me at some point. And check out the Best Bench Warmers on Podbean. I'm going to drop in the link one more time. And thank you all very much. Have a great rest of your night. Manny, Matt, you have any last words before we jump off?
No, thanks for having me on. It was a good time.
Yeah.
My pleasure. All right, y'all. We'll see you very soon. Be safe. May the Force be with you.